the amount of brain cells we're losing. It's really it's like the effect of a concussion. We all now.
My God, I've never agreed with Matt Walsh more. After watching a Jeffree Star anything, I have never. My brain cells have been cooked. I agree with Matt Walsh in this regard.
Concussed effectively because of the level of stupidity that we've been forced. Well, that I have forced you to.
Thanks, man.
Encounter today.
I really appreciate that.
But
either way, Mike Mushroom, a coward and a dipshit. Anyway, let's move on.
Today for our daily cancellation, I must again, unfortunately,
Jesus Christ. Okay, fair enough. We'll slow it down.
Today for our daily cancellation, I must again, unfortunately, cancel people on.
Okay, I know. We're only like 7 seconds in and I've already paused it. But I just realized, because I think Ben does the same thing. Or maybe, I don't remember. I think he does like a different, but basically the same thing as this. Did you notice how like the right wing and guys like Matt Walsh will like bitch, moan, whine, and complain about like cancel culture and then like host a segment that's just, it's time for the cancel hour? Like, okay, Matt.
On my own side, or at least theoretically on my own side. These are the conservatives who, over the past few days, have been frantically applauding their latest hero, their newly elected spokesman, their trendiest new conservative champion, Jeffree Star. And for those unfamiliar, as I was until 2 days ago, Star is a social media influencer and owner of a popular, I think, cosmetics brand. Star also enjoys dressing like a woman. But this flamboyant cross-dressing makeup salesman earned applause from many on the right, including prominent figures on the right, when he appeared on a podcast and said this.
I'm not into all the other I think.
Jeffree Star. Okay, let me get out ahead of this right now. Jeffree Star has always been a piece of shit and has always been cringe.
What other the they and them.
Yeah.
And all that extra that we added during the pandemic because everyone was so bored on their houses. They just started to make up more and more
stuff.
Yeah. That's where the conservatives like me because I'm just real.
Yeah, you do have a conservative vibe to you.
You're not they and them. You're trans, you're male, or you're female.
And you're standing on that.
Get so mad when I say that. How are you a they? What the does that mean? It's stupid is what it is.
Yeah.
But you need someone like me that looks like me to say it. Because if you say it, it turns into you're homophobic. You hate trans people. You hate gays. And it's just how you feel. You don't hate anyone. You just...
I do love how Jeffree Star accurately identifies the reason why they're a good tool for the right wing, and which is to say, you have somebody who's nominally or possibly from any community, you just have them come on and say all of the homophobic, bigoted shit that you can't get away with because it'll be rather obvious to identify you as a bigot. So you have somebody who looks like that group to say it, and then you say, "See, I agree. See, I can't be bigoted. I agree with the trans person or the non-binary person or whatever that hates non-binary people and trans people. See, I'm not a bigot. I'm friends with somebody who is bigoted. It's different, but they can't be bigoted because you can't be bigoted against your own group. That's not how that works, even though absolutely that's how that works. It's not really that hard to do. But either way, yeah. Also, I love, okay, I know I just stopped again. I'm sorry. Also, I love the idea that like, Jeffree Star comes out here and is like, like they, them, those words didn't exist before. Whoever said they before? That word only existed in like 2019 and 2020. The pandemic brought forth the wave of theys and thems. Fun fact, people who have identified as non-binary have been around for literally centuries, probably all of human history in one form or another. So just because like you didn't know any non-binary people, Jeffree Star, doesn't mean that they didn't exist. It just means that you're a small ignorant person. That's all that means. Also, what's the harm?
Stupid.
That's all. I know, but what's the harm though?
Now that, what you just heard, makes Jeffree Star based, apparently. He's based now. He said one thing that conservatives like, and they were on the scene with pom-poms in no time. And yes, Star is right that the they-them stuff is BS, of course, obviously. But the problem, one of them anyway, is that he rejects non-binary while affirming trans. He says that the only valid categories are trans, male, or female. And to drive that point home, he made another video responding to the backlash against his anti-they-them commentary, where he reiterated his support for and belief in transgenderism. Here it is.
I just went on and I saw a few outlets saying that I'm transphobic. Jeffree Star,
I hate this person.
who has 5 transgender employees. I have over 100 employees of all.
What a fucking my black friendism. Jesus fuck Christ. The idea that anybody, I'm sorry. If you watch Jeffree Star content, because like, I'm sorry, I have a low opinion of you. I just do.
All different ethnicities. A brand that is inclusive to the entire world. What we're not going to do is lie. So if you posted an article saying anything like that, you better delete it, Miss Thing, because I'm coming. All I said was I don't agree with pronouns. That's it. So you know how Cardi B sued that woman and, well, the lady don't have any money. But Cardi B won, allegedly, a lot of money from the lawsuit, even though she'll never get it. It's still the point of she won. That was phenomenal for someone like me that has been abused and dragged through the mud. And now we all know all my past mistakes, girl. Every time that I have an opinion, everyone has to bring up everything from the past.
Isn't Jeffree Star like a neo-Nazi too? Didn't they say like didn't they act? Oh, I'm sorry. I said they. I'm sorry. I don't give a fuck. If it offends them, they can be offended. I don't care. But yeah, didn't they like used to say like didn't they say like the N-word or some shit on something? I mean, don't get me wrong. They give me like real like white supremacist like skinhead vibes, but
that's getting so old, but the support and the understanding and the common sense from millions of people that I've seen over the last few days, it made me realize the planet's not that awful. Like, people get it. It's just social media, and they love to drag Miss Jeffrey Lynn. Also, shout out to so many amazing, beautiful transgender people and the LGBT community in my DMs, writing me. Just thank you.
I'm sorry about that. This is just too much. Between this guy and the Gloria Johnson tweet, it's just the amount of brain cells we're losing. It's really it's like the effect of a concussion. We all now.
My God, I've never agreed with Matt Walsh more. After watching a Jeffree Star anything, I have never. My brain cells have been cooked. I agree with Matt Walsh in this regard.
Concussed effectively because of the level of stupidity that we've been forced. Well, that I have forced you to.
Thanks, man.
Today.
I really appreciate that.
But very inspiring response from this right-wing warrior who desperately defends himself
Let's
from
get back
the
to
transphobia claims by bragging about all the trans people he employs. I suppose it just goes to show that Democrats really are the real transphobes. Of course, check back in about 5 years and people on the right will be defending transgenderism and non-binary, but then claiming that trans speciesism is where they draw the line. And somehow that position will be applauded as not only correct,
dude, trans speciesism, that's fucking wild. Like, that shit's fucking wild. I remember there's a I think it's like in the lore of like cyberpunk, I saw like they're like super rich like people in like the cyberpunk universe who do like who like they have enough money that they were able to basically like trans species themselves into like other animals, but not obviously, you know, with metal and shit like that and like cyberware and shit. But it was kind of fucking wild. If I can find it, I'll show it on screen.
But based. See, this is how it works as the Overton window continues its relentless march to the left. What was a fringe left-wing view yesterday suddenly becomes mainstream today, and the fringe today will be mainstream tomorrow. Meanwhile, the oblivious faction of conservatives, a rather large group, unfortunately, continue to embrace any position that is not at this moment on the extreme left-wing fringe. As long as it's not the most extreme version of leftism, they embrace it. Which means that tomorrow they will embrace whatever is on the extreme left-wing fringe today. Jeffree Star's conservative defenders have told me that, well, we should accept him into the fold because he is, they say, mostly right about the gender issue. But he's not mostly right. He's not even in the neighborhood of right. He's not in the I don't know what planet he's even on, let alone the neighborhood. He believes that a person can identify as and actually be a member of the opposite sex. He affirms transgenderism. It's just that he prefers to stick with the term transgender to describe those people and believes that non-binary is extra and redundant. And he's right that it is redundant. You know, as non-binary versus transgenderism, that is a distinction without a difference. That doesn't make him more right or
wait. No, it's actually not. Non-binary don't identify solidly with either men or women. Transgender people identify with the opposite one that they began as, I guess one would say. You know, if you're a man, if you're a transgender woman, then you were a man, but you identify more as a woman. Same vice versa. Like, non-binary people don't identify as either. Like, they're not in either of those groups. So, okay.
Closer to the truth. He's not.
And also, let's be clear. I know I just started and stopped again. Also, let's be clear. Like, non-binary people, also, this isn't like a biology thing. Non-binary people don't want to perform the social role, or don't feel comfortable, I should say, performing in the social role, in either of the social roles that we've constructed as societies. Like, that's all it is. It's like, I don't really know if I really fit into either of these. I'm not really comfortable with either of them. And that's why that's like non-binary people's is approach to like genders. They're like, you know, I don't really fit nicely into either. I'm not really, you know, somewhere in the middle. I don't really identify solidly with either. But like, it's about the gender structures that we have in our society.
A defender of truth and tradition because he prefers to stick with the craziest left-wing ideas from yesterday rather than adopting the craziest ideas from today.
Oh, this is also the difference between TERFs or second wave feminists and third wave feminists. Third wave feminists are going to be a lot more inclusive of LGBTQ issues into the movement, as opposed to second wave feminists, which are going to be generally a lot more concerned with a lot more began more in just a different era. It's just the progression of feminism. That third wave, the difference between third wave and second wave is just what gets accepted into the movement. Second wave is a lot more, I think, walled off and a little bit more specific to just traditional biological women, you know, and not as concerned with all of the rest of the, you know, also not really like black women as much, but, you know, that's, you know, these are the evolutions of a movement, of a, I guess, mindset, one could say. But
in fact, non-binary isn't even really crazier than transgenderism. These terms are, again, redundant. They are versions of the same nonsense.
Which
Starr prefers using one term for the nonsense rather than two. This apparently is enough to make him our generation's William F. Buckley. The left here is using a classic manipulation technique. You make an outrageous demand so that a slightly less outrageous demand seems reasonable by comparison. We should all be familiar with this strategy. It's the oldest one in the book, right? Kids use it all the time. Just a few nights ago, my son came up to me after dinner and said, "Daddy, can we all go get ice cream?" Now, asking me to load all 6 kids in the car after dinner when I already have my sweatpants and slippers on definitely qualifies as an outrageous demand. That's one thing they know. Once the slippers come out, I'm not going anywhere. We are here for the night. So I said no, and then he immediately followed it up with, "Okay, well then can we just watch a movie?" Now, in that case, I knowingly allowed myself to be suckered by the strategy and I let them watch a movie. But on a cultural level,
my God, the life of these poor children. They're like, "Dad, can we watch a movie?" And Matt Walsh is like, "You fucking, you fucking swine. You fucking little shit. I wanted to watch the fucking football game. And now you come in here and you want to watch a movie? I motherfucker." Like, fucking God, I feel sorry for these kids.
in the battle with the left, we cannot be so easily duped by these kinds of tricks. Just because non-binary is arguably a little weirder than trans, that doesn't make trans legitimate or any closer to legitimate than it was before. Celebrating Jeffree Star at this point, it's like if somebody was beating you over the head with a baseball bat, and then Jeffree Star ran in and said, "No, don't beat him over the head with a baseball bat. Just stomp on his face with your boot instead. Here, I'll help." Now, it's true that getting stomped is probably a little better than being bludgeoned with a bat, but does that automatically make the person stomping on your face an ally? Would you applaud this person as they kick you in the skull and say, wow, this guy's great. We should invite him to CPAC. No, he's still your enemy. He's still trying to kill you, just perhaps in a slightly less efficient manner. See, the curse of the big tent conservatism approach is that now our tent is filled with people who are directly trying to undermine our cause. A big tent doesn't do you a lot of good when
This is how I feel about Force the Voters, actually.
you're inviting people under it who will just try to rip it
Also,
down.
this is also, keep in mind, this is the difference between conservatism and, at the very least, like progressivism. Progressivism actively wants to expand its tent to allow for the most amount of people to benefit from its movement. Conservatism is the opposite. You are constantly trying to build walls to be more and more insular, to be as insular as you possibly can. It's why conservatives always value like small communities and like, small neighborhoods, small government. Their entire world concept is all about having like, always breaking down to the smallest group of people. So like, if you're in a scenario, you live in like a big city, you live in a city, we'll say, you live in like, if we're using like Denver as a good example, right? We're using like Denver, the Denver metro area, right? There are going to be people down in like Littleton who are going to be like, who like, if they're conservative are like, no, I'm not, no. My community is not Denver, even though like, yeah, it basically is. There'll be like, no, it's my like neighborhood. It's Hillcrest. It's just this. It's my neighbor. And then you break it down, and then it's my family, and eventually it breaks down to me. That's eventually what the conservative ideology comes down to. It's me, and you're just building those walls back as far as you can until you get down to just you. It's all about like my church. Oh, you're not in my church? Are you in my neighborhood? Oh, are you not? You're in my neighborhood, but are you on my street? Oh, you're on my street, but are you in my family? No. Oh, you're in my family, but are you like, are you are you me? And then it just at the core of conservative ideology is selfishness. At the utter core of it. It's an obsession with oneself.
Down and leave all of us standing in the rain, which is what's happening. One last point on all this. Starr says that we need someone who looks like him to say the things that he says, because if we say it, that is, if normal people who aren't cross-dressing circus performers say it, then we will be called bigots and transphobes. Well, except this logic is refuted by his follow-up video in which he defends himself against accusations of bigotry and transphobia. So it turns out that tokenism is not actually an effective strategy here. We cannot insulate ourselves from criticism by putting our arguments into the mouths of people who fall into identity categories that the left usually celebrates. Okay, I don't know how conservatives keep thinking this strategy will work. It never has. It never will. It doesn't work. Like, can you give me an example of someone who's in one of these identity groups and they make a conservative, well, not even conservative, they make a slightly less left-wing argument, and the left goes, well, normally I disagree with that, but this person is an identity group that we support, so I think we'll take it into consideration. Has that ever happened? Is there one example of that working?
I'm sorry, Matt. I wasn't paying attention. I was looking. Oh, yeah. Okay. So we're going to go back really quick because I wasn't paying it because I found what I was looking for. It's this. Yeah. And like the cyberpunk lore, they're like super fucking like rich people. Like they're called like exotics. It's like you have to be like ultra, you have to be like fucking stupid. You got to have like fuck you money. Like, but you can get like fucking cool ass cyberware that makes you like a fucking dog or some shit or a fucking lizard or whatever. Like, again, it's all like cyberware. It's not like, you don't get any of the like, obviously you don't actually become any of these things. But yeah, the trans speciesism stuff is always mildly interesting. I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna kind of look around here. It's just kind of interesting. After finishing the game, I've just been like, well, actually, no, I can't say I've been obsessed or really like super crazy about it, but like what's it called, like I played the game for like probably 2 weeks, like really heavily. Wish I could find like Oh yeah, wait, is this kind of yeah. But yeah, and I didn't do like super deep divey, but like I really like Cyberpunk 2077 after I played it. There's like there's definitely things about it that there were definitely like parts where I was like, yeah, this they didn't flesh this out, and like there's a bunch of mods that I think it's like exotics. There's a bunch of mods that like I think make the game more of what it should be, but yeah, the trans speciesism conversation that just made me think of that. That's all. I wish they put that stuff in the game. That'd be kind of cool. But they would need to address that, and they already didn't address like artificial intelligence quite as good as I wish they did. But we can't always have everything we want. Okay. Anyway, let me roll this back to like the 8-minute mark. That might okay. Oh hey, let's see. What is CBN News? Let's see. I see Mike has come back into chat. Lovely. Whoa! Somebody's feeling adventurous. We're on an actually based adventure. Hi there. How are you all doing? You gave us 1 second to copy raid message. Hi there. You should all follow. All of you follow. Do it now. I promise. I promise it'll be fun. Be the best thing you ever do. Do it. Do it. Do it. You should totally do it. I even put the sound from fuck, what video game was that? GoldenEye, I think. We're here in an action. Well, I don't know what's going on. I'm an old person. Let's see. Yeah, let's. I will open this later, Mike. I'm not gonna do this right now. Hello, everybody. How are you? 7 people. Wow. That's more than I think I've ever had in my chat. Why are you appropriating Canadian culture? That's my shirt, bud. I'm sorry. Well, I'm from Colorado. I live in Colorado. I feel like I live near a mountain. It's fucking, what degrees is it? It is fucking 3 degrees out here. I think I have a right to wear flannel. You Canadians do not have a monopoly on cold ass weather. Hello, everybody. Hello. I hope you enjoy what's about to happen, because I'm about to play Matt Walsh. So if you know who that is, I hope you're not gonna be what's it called? It's not gonna upset you. Can we have a debate? Sure, we can have a debate. If you want, we can do one later tonight. But otherwise, yeah, I'm fine with that, Marky. Was -40 with the wind chill yesterday. Ugh, Jesus Christ. Okay, you might have me beat on that. You might have me beat on that. That's fucking cold. I don't even want to know. I mean, I feel like I also get points. My window's open. It's like 3 degrees and my window's open, and it's kind of freezing in here. I like it cold, but 40 freedom units, compression units. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna continue with the Matt Walsh video. You guys hang out, have fun. I appreciate you all being here. You should totally follow. Just saying. I'm sorry I have to be that person. I don't like being the please follow person. Feels cringe, but what can I say? Got bills to pay.
And transphobia. So it turns out that tokenism is not actually an effective strategy here. We cannot insulate ourselves from criticism by putting our arguments into the mouths of people who fall into identity categories that the left usually celebrates.
Thanks, Murdercom. Appreciate you.
Okay, I don't know how conservatives keep thinking this strategy will work. It never has. It never will.
I don't know if that's true.
Doesn't work.
It's worked for Thomas Sowell. It's worked for him perfectly fine.
Like, can
Build
you
an
give me an
entire career
example
on being
of
the black
someone
guy
who's in one of these
who just
identity
says all the
groups,
anti-black
and they make
stuff.
a conservative, well, not even conservative. They make a slightly less left-wing argument,
Thank
and the
you.
left goes, well, you know, normally I disagree with that, but this person is an identity group that we support, so I think we'll take it into consideration. Has that ever happened? Is there one example of that working? No, it doesn't, because the left values ideological conformity over all else. Their vision of diversity is one in which people of all races, ethnicities, sexual orientations, except white males, and made-up genders come together to march in lockstep and speak in unison. Anybody who misses...
Oh, yeah? I would like everyone to come together and speak their minds. Yeah? Oh, okay. I don't like the marginalization of groups based on inherent or like inherent qualities. Okay. Oh, caught me there, pal.
Or forgets a line or tries to improvise will be cast out as not only a bigot but a traitor as well.
This is a
people
bad
from
habit on the
protected
left.
classes who
People on the
disagree
left
with
do sometimes
are
get a
not
little bit
given
too eager to
softer treatment or a better
kick
chance
people
at a
out of the
fair
movement for
hearing.
having
If anything,
minor
they're shouted down
differences.
all the louder and hated all the more, because on top of saying the things that the left hates, there's also the element of betrayal, because the left says, well, you're supposed to belong to us because of your identity. That doesn't make them, that doesn't make the heretic more credible in the eyes of the left. It just makes them a heretic. Just look at Jeffree Star. He agrees with the left on nearly everything, and he's living exactly the kind of lifestyle they promote, but they still exile him for mildly criticizing one small facet of gender ideology. Well, that doesn't make him our ally or our friend, but it does.
It makes him a fucking op. That's what he fucking is. He's fucking CIA. I still don't like Jeffree Star, but hey, if it makes you all look like fucking idiots in infight, then I guess I'm okay with it. Yeah, you guys can have him. Yeah, you guys can have him. The right can have Jeffree Star. Totally okay with that.
People like me to make
let the
this argument
let the right make Jeffree Star. Do it.
No, we don't need people like him to make the argument. We don't need a cross-dressing trans activist with neck tattoos and copious amounts of makeup to make the argument.
Man.
You know who we need? This goes back to the beginning of the show. We need normal people.
Normal white people.
Normal people like you. Normal, common sense people who live normal lives.
Like me.
And dress and act like normal people.
Like me.
We need them to speak up and be advocates.
I will speak up now.
Because
Matt Walsh is a dipshit.
Normalcy is what we're trying to defend, isn't it? The best defender of normalcy is a normal person. And not just one normal person, but...
You know, is that true? Is the best defender of normalcy a normal person? Also, what is a normal person? And what is, like, this is all rather relative, but okay.
Legions of them, an army of normal people demanding a return to sanity and common sense and basic moral decency. Jeffree Star is not ever going to be an effective champion for that cause.
Probably not.
You can be. That is why Jeffree Star and his conservative defenders are today canceled.
Damn.
That'll do it for this portion of the show. Let's move over to the members block. If you're not a member yet.
God damn, poor Jeffree Star. Not allowed in the left, not allowed in the right. Well, I mean, I prefer him. He can stay in the right. They can stay in the right. They you know, let the grenade be there if it's gonna be anywhere. Okay. Anyway. All right. You know the thing that they tell, you know, like at the end of all YouTube videos where they tell you to like click on one of these like things to watch more videos. Yeah, I've been meaning to film one of those. So that's what I was doing. I was just setting it up to film one.